Hello, my friends. So if you have ever spent the most minute amount of time searching the information about how to get your house ready to sell, there is so much information out there, right? I mean, like you almost feel inundated with some of that information. And a lot of it is great information, but there's some information that is time sensitive information depending on what type of market we're in. There's information that is just bad out there that when we read through it, we think, don't do that. That's so stupid. But let's debunk a few myths. One of the biggest myths right now in real estate, because of the type of market we're in. So remember, let's keep in mind that this is time sensitive to the market that we're in right now, is that we should price our house a little bit higher. Sometimes people think a lot higher, so that we have room to negotiate our price. It's not exactly that way right now. When I say not exactly, it's not that way right now. So right now we are in a buyer's market. Buyers are getting more and more savvy every day. There's so much information out on the internet that they know realistically what a house is worth. So if we go in and we price your house $30,000 or $40,000 over what the comps are telling us and that the data is telling us because we want room to negotiate, you have overpriced your house. Nobody's going to come see it. You're not going to get an offer because there's another house down the road, because we have so much inventory available that they're just going to go select that one, go look at that one, and you're never even going to get a second look back because you're just so overpriced. So it's really important in this market that we price our houses competitively. We really analyze the data and take a look at the data and what it's telling us and where we should go on the market, because we don't want to chase that market down, because ultimately what happens when we chase that market down is typically you get less of a purchase price than what you would have originally gotten if you just went on the market at the correct price. So you think you're doing right, but really you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit because it just doesn't work. So the second myth is, I don't need to do anything to my house. I don't need to do any kind of repairs to my house. The buyers can worry about that. Well, that's true in some cases. You know, if you need a new roof, you don't necessarily have to replace the roof, and we can negotiate that as part of the buyer's contract, and we can do some credits and some creative stuff on that. But we need to take care of our house. We need to do those continuous maintenance type things on our house. You need to fix leaky faucets. You need to make sure that there's no paint peeling. We want to make sure that your home looks like it's been well maintained and should be well maintained when we're putting it up for sale. The third thing is staging is so unnecessary. They can just come in my house and it's fine. So you don't have to do a full-blown staging. That's not necessary in 90% of the cases where we replace furniture and all of this kind of stuff. But you do have to stage your home to sell it. Staging and selling your home is different than living in your home. That's why we talk a lot about pulling the clutter down, clearing off everything, pulling personal things out. We want to play the psychology of the buyer a little bit and let them have the opportunity to envision themselves living in your house. They can't do that if your home hasn't been staged and set to sell. They're so busy looking at all of your stuff that they can't see themselves in your house. So yes, you do need to stage your house to sell it. It's just not that full-blown staging that you're thinking about. So there's a few myths that we have debunked. There's more to the story, and more can be discussed at a listing appointment. So if you're interested in talking over some of these myths and having some more information about your house specifically, give us a call. We'd love to come and talk to you about listing your house.